Hello everyone, my name is Matthew Craig, and today I'm going to be doing a short and quick extra credit assignment. This is basically a review over the first exam we took in the course, which goes over some general concepts of computer science, namely digital basics, hardware, software, operating systems, and file management. During this video, I'm simply going to be highlighting a few select questions from the exam, discussing and analyzing them, as well as showing the correct response for each. Getting right into it, the first question will be the sixth from the exam. What is the correct process of a CPU executing an instruction? You may know that every time you issue a command to a computer, give it something to do, etc., the CPU or central processing unit needs to go through a specific process to execute that command. This cycle is known as the fetch-execute cycle. It starts with the CPU fetching the instruction you give it. After it has received the instruction, it needs to decode or interpret it into something that it can understand. Once it knows exactly what it needs to do, it executes the command. After that step, it may store the result into the RAM, and then it increments to the next cycle. The speed of your processor is determined by how fast it can complete a cycle. Taking this information back to the problem, we can decide that the correct process is fetch, interpret, execute, and increment in that order. This corresponds with choice C from the exam. Moving on, question 8 from the exam was, what is one difference between an interpreter and a compiler? To understand this question, you need to know what both of those two things are. Here's a nice graphic showing the basic steps of each in the context of Java, which is one of the major programming languages. A compiler has the role of taking raw source code and compiling it together in something called a class file. Other types of compilers do similar things as well. Then an interpreter takes that class file and uses it to execute various tasks. Some of the answer choices included something called a runtime, which is basically the period for which a program is being executed. We can say that the compiler does its job long before the program itself is executed, because the compiling of source code creates the files for the program itself. Therefore, it acts before the runtime. The interpreter only does its job when trying to execute the file, meaning it must be active during the runtime itself. Taking this knowledge to the problem, we can see that the correct answer indeed relates to the runtime. An interpreter acts during runtime, while a compiler works before runtime, which was choice B from the exam. Okay, going on to number 15 from the exam, was which of the following are natural threats to a computer? It gives us 4 options: water, heat, power surges, and dust. And we are supposed to choose all that apply. It's pretty obvious that both water and heat are natural threats to any electronic device. The other two might not be so obvious though, so let's analyze them a bit. Dust is simply the accumulation of dirt particles that are in the air. In a computer, dust can contribute to overheating due to it absorbing the heat and can lead to other problems as well. The dust forming is definitely a natural process, so we can include that as well. The majority of power surges, though, are caused by people. They can be caused from tripping a circuit breaker, electromagnetic pulses, etc. However, they can also sometimes be caused by nature, namely lightning strikes. And the spike in voltage that this causes can do serious damage to computers, which is why you usually should always use surge protection equipment. Okay, so that's pretty much everything. It gives us the answer that all 4 of them are effectively natural threats to computers. And that is all of everything for today's video. So as always, my name is Matthew Craig, and I'll see you guys next time.